Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We're ready to start our meeting. I think we have everyone on the committee here. There's no one who's missing. And just a reminder to mute your phones as well so that we don't hear ringing during the meeting, and mute your microphone when you're not speaking. So first we have our call to order, which we pretty much have done. It's 2:02 p.m. on Tuesday, April 27th. And then we need a mover and a seconder for the approval of the agenda. If you want to just throw your hand up, that's probably the easiest. I have Christine and I have Sherry to second. All in favor? Okay, it's approved. Any declarations of pecuniary interest? I don't see any. And then to our discussion. So, of course, we all know the situation of where we're at, and a lot of people are asking about whether or not we're going to be having Apple Fest this year. And council discussed it briefly at our meeting a few weeks ago, and what came out of that was that we should allow Apple Fest to have a meeting so we can have a discussion and make a recommendation to council. Ultimately, they would be the ones who could cancel it, but so I guess what I do want to do is go around, and I'll just kind of pick each person to have a little, let us know what you're thinking. And our discussion can be around whether to cancel Apple Fest, whether we're able to pull some sort of smaller version of Apple Fest off if we're actually able to have any kind of event at that time. Right now, we don't know for sure. Because Apple Fest can draw so many people, the likelihood of us being able to have the full event is pretty small, and the time to get things organized. So anyway, why don't I start, and I'm just going to go around the table to all the members and the staff as well. If you can all just kind of throw in your comments, and then we'll decide how we want to move forward. So I'm going to start with, I'm just going across my screen. So I'm going to start with Sarah. Did you want to just throw in your thoughts?
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Hilwarda. Nice to see you all again. Sorry it's like this. Thoughts. Apple Fest, as you know, is near and dear to our hearts, and I don't know if it's ever not been a go. It's never been canceled. Ireland did cancel St. Patrick's Day. Maylong it's not a go. If this is a go, I will wholeheartedly give it my all to make, our end come together and help out wherever you need me. If we decide it's not, I'll focus on next year's Apple Fest. Those are my thoughts. Okay, gonna mute.
Thanks, Sarah. Colleen, you want to go next?
Yeah. I'm basically in the same boat as Sarah. I mean, everything kind of depends on how this virus and everything is going. It's an awful lot of people to have in one area if it's not all cleared up and stuff. And I mean, time's ticking to kind of book people for everything, really. Mm-hmm. So again, if you guys are on board, I'm on board, and if not, then I guess we'll have to wait till next year.
Okay, Bruce, did you want to go next?
Alrighty, hello everyone. Good to see ya. Yeah, I don't know if it's even gonna be hard. Like, we can make a decision, and then the council can make a decision, but it might come down to what the province is allowing. I've been kind of following what New Brunswick's doing because they're ahead of us and opening things up, but they said no festivals or concerts for all of 2020.
Yeah.
So even a province as well ahead of us isn't having anything.
Yeah.
Like an Apple Fest or concerts or so on. So it might be out of our hands anyways. Personally, in terms of the entertainment in the park and the parade musicians, I've got them all booked and tentatively booked and offered them a certain amount of money. I think I sent you guys my kind of lineup of what I had. So personally, I've sort of done the prep work. So can just kind of sit back and wait to see what happens now. It's not as crucial for me as people booking the vendors and so on. I know that has to start happening. So, I mean, obviously, I hope it happens. I love Apple Fest, but I'm kind of doubtful we'll be allowed. And I don't know how to do it smaller, honestly. From my end, I don't know how you still have entertainment in the park. How do you restrict the amount of people that are in an open area like that? I'm not sure how that would work, but I'm good either way. I'm ready to go ahead if that's what happens, but I understand if we can't.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Bruce. I mean, it is hard. We don't really know what we're even going to be allowed to do. But I'm just going to continue around to Councillor Rowley.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, I'm of two minds as well. It's a sad day if Brighton has to cancel Apple Fest, that's for sure. However, I don't know how we can do it with the thousands that come here. My other concern is, and having conversations with the community events committee as far as volunteers, a lot of the volunteers that we have, a lot of them are seniors, and they're certainly very wary of getting involved this year at all for anything. So I think that would be another thing, whether we pull it off or not, we need a lot of volunteers, and I would just wonder if we would have enough that would step up to help. So yeah, whatever the committee decides, I'm certainly fine with. Would love to see it go, but definitely would understand. I think it's kind of bittersweet decision for us to make.
Yeah. Thanks. Oh, Candace, yeah.
Sorry, that Jackie Steele, she just sent me a message asking why we kicked her out. So she must be on the committee?
I think she was the name Patrick had of the new person months ago, and then she wasn't available for the first meeting. But I'm pretty sure that was the name.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
I kind of agree too.
Okay.
So I'm just going to tell her to try to log in again. Okay, Randy, if you can put her back in, that would be great. Okay.
I'm going to continue on and then I'll welcome her when she. Okay, Sherry.
Hi. Apple Fest and the other committees has been on a huge topic around here and on my mind as well. I know a lot of things right now are really hard to, you don't know what one day from the next is going to be like. You don't know what 1 month to the next is going to be like. So on one hand, because, other places are canceling, maybe it would make sense to, but at the same time too, where I kind of look at it as too is, where do we draw the line of making the date up, like the decision date? Like how far ahead do we leave this beat before we have to make a decision on when we're actually going to call it quits? And some ways I don't want to call it quits on it, because if things happen to clear up and we can do this, then we're kind of out of it. And I know everybody keeps telling me it's not going to happen that fast, but I kind of tend to look on the broader side of things. It's like, how long do we actually leave all this go to before we have to make that final decision to cancel it?
Part of the problem is that we're already behind the 8 ball. To get Apple Fest planned from now until September would be really difficult. The longer we leave it, the more difficult it is to even pull it off. Yeah. And the problem also is that there's restrictions, right, on the amount of people that can be in attendance at something. The fact that we've had 10,000 at Apple Fest, the likelihood of us even being allowed to have it, I think that's the issue that we're looking at. Yeah. That it may not happen this year at all, that we could have that many people. If it was a festival of a couple hundred, that might be different, but because we're looking at such large numbers. So I think we really need to kind of have the discussion today, and we may have to make a decision that we really don't like, but and if at one point maybe we're allowed to have some sort of event, maybe we can have a parade and a street dance for locals only, but I don't know how to even control that. But let's kind of hear what everyone says, and then we'll hear from Rick and from Jim as well. They have a handle on some things perhaps that we don't as well. We can discuss some of that. So I'm going to go to Christine and then hear what she has to say, and then we'll kind of hear from the other two.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
We can.
I'm the same as everyone else. obviously we all would love to see Applefest go. I honestly, I don't see it happening this year with the numbers that we have. But maybe if things do clear up by August 1st, maybe just downsize it, and we're allowed to have as many people as we want. Do maybe what you said, I was kind of thinking the same thing, even do vendors on the Saturday, just along the street, maybe this year, no car show, because it'll be short term. Same with the Children's Village, because we won't have the funding for it, we won't have money for it. And do some sort of street dance, do the vendors through the day, and then use the Memorial Park, and maybe even Rotary will put something on, because they're not, it's a big fundraiser for them, Rotary and Lions Club, King Club, things like that. So maybe they could certainly help out, and the money goes to them, because we won't be spending the money that we normally do.
Yeah.
And realistically, if the vendors don't get noticed until August 1st, if they get all their paperwork in, it could definitely be done in 5-6 weeks. That's not a problem. It'll be a bit chaotic, but it's I don't think we'll have the same amount of vendors anyways this year, just because of the unknown.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit with everyone else. It's up in the air. We all want it to happen, but I just realistically don't think it's going to. And at the end of the day, it's up to the province to decide what we are allowed to do and what we're not allowed to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's my 2 cents.
Okay, thank you. Rick, and then Jim, did you want to weigh in on this a little bit?
Sure, thanks, Deputy Mayor, and good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, certainly in listening to your comments, and I think we all share that same sentiment that we would love to see this thing happen, and it's an amazing event that a lot of work was into, but realistically, it really doesn't look like it's going to happen. They're just announced this afternoon, the Ford government announced about just even very moderately beginning. They're not even given a lot of detail on what an opening up is going to look like. So we're listening to that. Here we are. We're going to be the 1st of May, the end of this week on Friday. And I guess I asked the question is, do we want 10,000 people standing on our front down on Main Street? A lot of people. We have a lot of visitors come into our area for this year, and maybe it's best that we just forego. I think the idea of, and come September, October, perhaps there'll be things. Well, people are going to need to do something. I agree. Everyone's getting weighed down with this, but I think so maybe a day event or something, even up at King Edward Park, where we've got lots of room and everybody can spread out. That could be a possibility, something municipally sponsored. But as far as the Applefest itself, I really believe it's probably going to have to just go on pause for this year, and then look out to next year. We can really give it a great effort.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks. Jim?
Mute. Good. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Like, I just can't see, even though it's 4 months away, us being able to put that much of a crowd. Like Main Street, you can't even walk sometimes, right? It's so busy. Like, I honestly don't think the province is going to open it up to that much. I know the Norwood Fair is already canceled. And they canceled a month ago, and I think they're later than us. Haven't got a crystal ball, so I honestly don't know what the government's going to allow us to do. I guess the bottom line is, what can you put together quickly enough, or at least have a plan that if it's a go, we can do it, and what events take the time that you need, the 4 months. I know advertising and whatnot, it's kind of iffy if we do proceed. I don't know. I just don't know.
Okay.
But definitely, if you're asking me, I'm probably 60% it's not gonna happen.
Okay, 60%. That's not as high as I thought. He's playing it smart, or I guess, but okay. So I think the general consensus is the same. I don't think there's any way we're going to be able to have Applefest as we have, and at this point, we don't know if we'll be able to do anything. Pulling off all of Applefest in a month or 5 weeks or 6 weeks would be pretty much impossible. We all know that. So I think we have to look at maybe, I hate the word cancel. We can postpone Applefest till 2020, or and in August, if, you know, I mean, we're doing quite well in Ontario. We're doing quite well in our area as far as the virus, no doubt. So if in August, if we come to know that we're able to just, like I said, put on a small day event, I don't know. We'll have to see what the restrictions are then. Then I'm sure we could as a group, pull something off just to celebrate what would normally be Applefest, just in our community, not for, like, we just have to keep all the outsiders out. No, you know what I mean? Like that's where it gets difficult, right? How do you limit people, right? But if we can have a small community event, that would be great. It can be something we can discuss later on. Is everyone kind of in agreement with that? I mean, we need to make some sort of recommendation to council. They didn't want to make this decision without our input, so we need to provide them with that input. So basically what I need someone to make a motion and someone to second the motion, and we agree on it. So if there's someone out there who would like to make a motion, that would be great.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, there you go, Colleen.
So I think the likelihood of it happening is not gonna happen. It's way too many people in one area, too many, like, we're good, like you said, we're good in our area, but when you start getting all the people that come from out of our area, it's gonna be a higher risk, of course, and like Emily said, getting volunteers and stuff, it's gonna be hard. I think it's not enough time to prepare for everything.
So we need a wording for a motion. Does anyone have suggestions for a wording? Maybe Emily, you have, go ahead.
Yeah.
You're seconding this motion.
Okay, so I would like to move that for 2020, Applefest as we know it is canceled, postponed is a better word, right? A little softer. And that if allowed by the province, that we get together in August to create maybe a municipality only event.
Is everyone okay with that? So what we'll do is, Emily, Colleen is going to move that and you can second it. Is that okay?
Yeah,
okay.
That's fine.
And do we want any discussion around that? Go ahead, Jim. Yeah.
I just think, we know Canada Day is squashed. So who knows, maybe by then you can do fireworks.
Yeah.
Weekend. You know, move that kind of stuff up.
Yeah, I want to keep it open for options.
Yeah,
I see
saying.
Bruce with his hand up too.
Yeah, I can see by that point, the province will probably put numbers on everything.
Yeah.
Probably the luckiest we get is something like events 500 or less could happen.
Yeah.
So that might be a nice number for a community event. And I don't know how you'd obviously have to restrict who comes in.
I know.
But it's doable, a smaller event. And in terms of my end, the entertainment, well, I got all these bands that want to play. It'd be easy to put some entertainment on. I don't know what the budget would be then, though. Like, nobody knows. I know.
No.
The town could spring some money for whatever.
Yeah.
That would be a best case scenario in my mind. Is 500 might be a number they put on it, but. I wanted to ask, you mentioned about, because I was talking to Lloyd a little bit, so Canada Day, because my band was supposed to play Canada Day, that's all done, is it, for sure?
Well,
if I can chime in, I should say Canada Day as we know it is not going to happen this year. However, the library staff, they have stepped up and they are going to create some kind of virtual Canada Day. More details to come. I should say that myself, And I believe the mayor, I don't know, Laura, if you were on that email this morning, along with the CEO of the library, we are going to have a virtual meeting on Thursday to see how some of that can work. But it will be the project of the library, and it will be probably supported monetarily by community events, because the library board obviously doesn't have that in their budget to create all of this. So there might still be music, Bruce.
Okay.
Just not exactly sure what the whole project is going to look like, but we're going to start looking at that Thursday.
The band that was supposed to play at Canada Day, Downbeat, we're going to do an all Canadian night on July 1st because it was a Wednesday night for a concert in the park. Well, maybe we were already planning on trying to do a virtual band thing online. So maybe we could record a couple of Canadian rock tunes and make it part of that event.
I will certainly pass that along to our first little group that's going to meet on Thursday. Like I said, this is just the first little get
Sure.
together to see how and what we can do. But I will certainly pass that along, Bruce. I'll take
Sure.
your email address again, and if you could just send me kind of a quick email as to what you could then plan to do.
Yeah, it would
like you say, virtually.
give us some motivation to do. We've already done one song with ENSS teachers. I did a song with them to post online. You've all seen them. Everybody records their own part at home and splice it together. So okay, I'll send you something, Emily.
Okay,
Sure.
that's great. Thank you.
Give us something to look for. Okay.
Yeah.
Great idea. Happy to hear that. Maybe we can have a virtual Apple Fest. Who knows? We'll work on that idea if we can't do anything else. But yeah, so we have a motion on the floor to cancel or postpone Apple Fest as it is to 2020. Really, should we add in there that we're postponing it to 2020 or canceling it for 2021 or canceling it for 2020 with the option to look at it later. Candace, do you have the motion written down there? Can you just read it so that we know?
Well, so what I have is that Apple Fest for 2020 be postponed, but if allowed by the province, a small event for the community will be put in place.
So that's a recommendation to council, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll add that. Is everyone happy with it as it is? Yeah. So I guess we should vote on that. All those in favor, just raise your hand. Is that okay for this application? Okay. Yeah, I've got everyone in favor. So that will be sent to council, and then they'll make a decision from there. I mean, but they value our opinions on that. And then what we can do is just kind of play things by ear, see what happens. And in August, we can get together and maybe virtually, maybe in an actual meeting, who knows what will happen. And we can discuss whether we can put something together for that time period. So right now, council has canceled all meetings through to, I think it's the end of May, and then we're going to talk about, is that what it is, Emily?
I think so, Laura.
Yeah, and then we're going to reevaluate, but it really depends on what the province does, whether or not we're allowed to have meetings or not yet. So, so we'll just kind of play it by ear and go from there. Anything else anyone wants to talk about at this point?
Laura, could I make just a bit of a suggestion, as we aren't meeting obviously again until maybe June or July, depending on council situation. Is it possible then that we just keep our committee apprised of what's going on via email without having to meet virtually, just for whatever's going on this summer? Just send updates through email?
Sure. Candace, are we allowed to do that? Just send out updates as far as maybe where we're at? Okay. So we can certainly do that.
I can do that. I'm doing that for other events, or sorry, other committees as well. So yeah, we can always do that. If we get anything in, we can, and you can share between yous as well. Like this is out of the ordinary, so they're allowing a lot of things to slide.
Okay, so yeah, so Candace will send sort of an update of where things are at, and And then we can, we can certainly email back and forth a little bit about things. Normally we're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to do everything in committee meetings, and but just so that we can kind of keep on top of things until we do meet again. That way we're ready to go if it comes to that point. Anything else from anyone? No? Well, oh, go ahead, Candace.
Unfortunately, Jackie wasn't able to get on. I just sent her an apology email letting her know that unfortunately with Patrick being gone, I wasn't aware of this person and I didn't have her on my list. I must have had her on the list for the email to be sent to her, but I just wasn't sure. So yeah, so I apologize to her for that. You may hear from her.
Okay. Yeah, we'll explain it to her. Okay, so if that's nothing else, then I'm just going to adjourn the meeting, and I need, oh, Christine, go ahead.
So I had posted that the vendor applications would be the end of April. So should I send all the vendors a notice even before the council speaks, or should I just let them know it's still just on pause until we get direction from council and or the province?
So council's going to meet next week. So I would wait for a council meeting, because council may decide to permanently cancel and that we won't be having any event. We don't know at this point. But then after that, I would certainly send them all and put it up on the on all our social media that Apple Fest is either canceled or postponed until next year, or whatever wording we decide to go with.
Okay.
So let's just wait until see what council does. And if you're getting questions, you can still let them know we're still deciding, but you can let them know what it looks like most likely. So.
Okay.
Anything else on your end? No? Anyone else? No? Okay. Didn't miss anybody? Okay, so I need a motion to adjourn. Colleen? And do we need a seconder, Candace, for that? Motion to adjourn? Okay, well, Sherry is a seconder either way. Everyone in favor? Yes. Okay, so that's it, everyone. Have a good summer or whatever until we see each other again, but we'll keep in contact through email. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. Okay, see ya. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Stay safe and healthy.
Yeah, you too.